So, so last week, whatever we have discussed is predominantly understanding the network related concepts. But being a security engineer, you should also have some knowledge to be gained from the security perspective as well. But uh, not like to an extent where you are implementing any algorithms or something like that, but the fair amount of information which are required uh, for you to like day-to-day activities, okay, for that level. And mostly the attack related things you should be thorough of. So for now, we will be starting very slowly with respect to the, since we'll be having nearly 15 hours at least on the security basics, which this particular class includes the understanding, like making you guys ramp up with different types of attacks. And next class will be doing ourselves by launching some attacks, all those things will be done. Next class in the sense next weekend. So this class will be seeing different kinds of threats. Okay, so let's start with the security essentials for our. Okay, so you might be knowing like nowadays, like if you see as the mm, uh, like if you take it like somewhere around 15, not even 15, I can say it last 30 years before, the internet is not wide open for everyone. It's hardly the networking is a concept meant for only for the people who are like big organizations um, or very big in universities where the research was happening. And even for the big corporations, it was not even they don't have any internet or any such kind of things. Only uh, the 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 institutes like say for example MIT and Stanford or the government agencies like DARPA and say for example MIT, Stanford, and these guys are working together on some research projects. So they were mainly predominantly in that particular activity, maybe like 30 or 40 years before. But slowly, as the internet technology, the web technologies increase, I mean, like started getting adapted, and the adaption of the HTML, all these languages, and then the website started getting developed, and the wider uses of the internet increased. Okay, so as you know, like when you have any kind of any evolution is happening, the similar way, like when you have like say, I can say the industrial revolution is happening. Okay, people were getting used to it in a way that like, oh, this is like something very new. The industrial revolution is like making bringing the products for you, like kind of like vehicles, machineries, everything. Okay, so that went off like a skyrocket. The same way, and there were some issues with that as well, like excess amount of like what I can say like carbon usage, carbon emissions, sorry, not usage, carbon emission into the atmosphere is really affecting the environment, right? The same way, these kind of like the technologies with respect to the web and internet grown so much that the attackers, uh, it's like they are like getting like it's a golden age for them because now the people are not only storing the important information, sensitive informations like your bank details or you are in this details in the sense you have an app which you can like with your finger tap you can unlock your account details and everything kind of things. And you have some information getting stored in your PC, laptops, or even in the cloud. So he has got an attacker got wide variety of uh, the targets to aim at and exploit you. Okay, so now it is a golden age for the attackers. If it is a golden age for an attacker, there must be like the people who are the defenders to be in place to contain them. So the people like you and me who are gonna be our who are security engineers have to make sure like to stop them or contain them in stealing or like attacking our systems. Okay, so that means like contrary, you cannot say that it's not golden age for the I mean like the defenders. Yes, it is a golden age for the defenders because that's the reason you have very good opportunities in security compared to any other industry as well. Okay, so what kind of attacks these guys? We are talking about the attacks and okay. So there are predominantly 8 types of attacks you come across um, on any specific user is going to get faced. Okay. The most of it is like called as a malware. We'll be discussing about them in some time. And another is phishing type of attacks. Another one is like password attacks. Means the malware is like predominantly like some small executable files. Those guys used to steal or damage your machine, okay, or your system, okay, or his intention is to steal the data, okay. The phishing means like he wants to try to capture your, I mean, like he will be disguising and trying to do something by disguising as someone. Okay, so that is called as the phishing, and we'll be discussing a little more on that in some time. Okay, the password attacks is nothing but like these guys will be like they might have got some usernames and they want to extract some password by guessing or cracking or something like that. Okay, so DDoS is nothing but like you have a system, you're running the business, but they want to disrupt your service. So for that, they do DDoS or DOS attacks, distributed denial of service or DOS attacks. Okay, and man in the middle, like these guys like phishing, these guys somewhat like disguising like they are the networks through which the data has to pass through them so that they will be in a position to monitor all the data whatever you're sending through them. Okay, so drive-by downloads most of us might have seen while using the torrents are here and there, or some uh, websites where we look for a lot of free stuff kind of materials and all these things. As soon as when you launch some websites, they start getting downloading some kind of exe files into your machine. Okay, those are kind of drive-by download attacks. Okay, so malvertisers is nothing but uh, those are like kind of advertisements which are displayed. Okay, but instead what it is, it's like the ad whatever they are displaying is disguising like the normal ad, but internally they have some kind of script. As soon as when you click on that, some scripts getting generated or something and it gets run or something like that. Okay, and rogue softwares, these also you might have seen some websites. If you visit them, definitely you will see that your system is infected, so it requires for immediate cleaning or something. You have to download some software for that. Usually you see it in with some pop-up ads or something like that. Okay, so these are 8 different kinds of attacks, uh, which predominantly the attackers try to attack on any specific systems. Okay, so there are different, as I said, like malware is not just a malware. You can say it as a Trojan, worm, or virus. All 3 things comes under the malware itself. Okay, they're all the same, but each of them will be behaved differently. Um, you know what is meant by Trojan? Trojan is nothing but, uh, say for example, without knowing to you, you installed this software, but the Trojan is something like it is telling it as like it is a normal, as usual, some software free stuff someone has given it to you and you have installed it, but without knowing to do, it is doing something like it might be communicating with someone uh, somewhere in the far across somewhere other part of the world or somewhere who is the attacker controlling. It is getting the commands from somewhere. Okay, it's opening a channel with some attacker. Okay, that particular software without knowing to you. Okay, but you thought it is a very good nice software. Someone has actually kept it in the internet. That's not the case. Okay, so and that is also a malware. Okay, so worms is also called as malwares itself. Okay, so when you install any software, okay, by mistake or doing something, the main intention of malware is there any way I can reach from this machine? Okay, let me, I think I can write it here. Yeah, let me open a paint. This should be nice. So this is your system. Okay, uh, you are inside a network. Definitely, in any organization, you'll be having the machines getting connected uh, to what? To a switch. This is the switch, and all machines are connected here. Okay, and this might have connected to a router, or you can consider any router or any firewall or anything. Okay, but what it does is, uh, as in when I said worm is also kind of malware. As soon as when you install any worm on your machine by mistakenly or intentionally, it tries to identify any shared folders or shared locations. Okay, you know, you might have connected to a printer. Okay, uh, which is your administrator has given for you to access the printing. So it will try to infect this. Okay, or you might be sharing some folder with your friend, okay, or your colleague. Okay, so it will try to get copied over there, and if your friend tries to open it, and it will get uh, what do you say, infects this particular machine, or uh, your folder is copied to someone, okay, and then it will go there and it will infect that machine as well. In whichever way possible ways, okay, it it wants to spread throughout the network. Okay, so worms will try to spread across network. That's why important thing, anytime when any malware attack happens, the first important step what we have to take care is like to disconnect the internet of that particular machine, or to disconnect the network interface of that particular machine, so that this machine can never be able to communicate with other machines. Even if it is having a Wi-Fi, disable entire network to be disabled. Okay, so that is called as the of the worm. Okay, and there is something called as virus. These are like very old stuff which even we use it as a synonym even for malware or any other things. But instead of I can say that virus main purpose is like um, it actually if there is any proper file which doesn't have any issues, it will make it it gets infected. And what it does with this, it makes this file unreadable. Okay, or it starts spreading across different files within the same machines, and it makes your system performance getting degraded, and it won't let the proper files to not to get launched. Okay, so all these things will happen using the uh, virus. Okay, so the virus, okay, worm and Trojan all are called as the malware. So that's why we have malware as one category. Everything comes under one category. Okay. Okay. So the phishing, as I said, it is like you are a person, you you are working for some organization, someone is trying to target you. Okay. Maybe irrespective of it, like what's his intention, we will see it later in some time. Deeply, I'll explain it somewhat. But it is like someone is pretending to be some like a known person, and he'll be sending some mails to you. Okay, and the password attacks. Okay, uh, someone is trying to guess your credentials, like your password. It can be like he wants to know your exact password. Okay, so that he can log into those using those credentials. He can log into your system and he can do whatever he wants. He can theft the data or he can destroy the information. Okay, and DOS attack is like sending high volume of data to disrupt your service. Okay, so man in the middle attack, when this comes, okay, I would like to give you a small story. Like when you get into some uh, check in into some hotels, if you find any free Wi-Fi and it's not asking any username and password, don't connect to it. What they do is, as soon as when you try to connect to their Wi-Fi router, okay, using your laptop or your mobile, okay, if you try to launch any website, say for example, say if your um, bank account is, say for example, Bank of America, okay, the .com something, okay, as soon as when you click on it, okay, this particular guy is pretending he's saying it as a Wi-Fi, but to be frank, actually he is an attacker who has created a hotspot, I mean like Wi-Fi hotspot, okay, and he is actually created a Wi-Fi hotspot. People who are looking for free Wi-Fi hotspots are getting connected to his machine indirectly. Okay, so when every request, whatever they are sending from their PCs, they are going to his machine, and he is able to see everything whatever you're doing, and he's sending that data back to the internet, the to and fro from the internet to your machine, okay, whatever the communication you are doing, it is passing through this particular attacker, this guy, evil guy. So he's able to see each and every bit of your data, whether it can be bank details or it can be your Amazon or Amazon details or anything, whatever you're doing, he's able to see it. Okay, so it's a very dangerous attack. Okay, so consider that it is also like he got once if he gets hold of this, what he can do is he can view, modify, means altering the data. He will have the privileges to do all these things, your request, okay, or he can delete your data also. Okay, so like whatever the data it is coming to you, he can stop it also. He can. Okay, so these are the things that he can do as a man in the middle, because you are requesting a service. This is the party one, and this is a server, bank server somewhere, party two. Okay, and the man is sitting in the middle who is doing some activities like these, viewing, modifying, or deleting. This guy is called as man in the middle. And short form, they say it as a MIM, M-I-M, man in the middle. Okay? Okay. Yeah. So drive-by downloads, as I said, the same thing. If you want, I'll be sharing these all things later in our group. You guys have to share me. I'll be some others are not there in the group, so I'll be asking you guys to drop all your email IDs after Elango is a join today. So Elango, I'll be adding you to the group, okay, in some time. So you just drop every one of you drop your Gmail IDs so that I can add this presentation to you guys so you can refer it after the class as well. Okay. So, so these are the attacks. Okay. Now, I would like to show you this breach website, the kind of why we need the SOC people to be aware of all these things. If you see this, okay, this is the 2009 number of companies that are actually got compromised, and the bigger the circle, it says the amount of attack it actually the scope of the attack, the 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 how big the attack is. Okay, you see, it was happening over the like some maybe in March or something happened, maybe on April, May something happened, then after that maybe July, August, something happened. So these are like even including US military and some universities. Okay. Virginia Department of Healthcare, all these are actually really got affected. So you get like 70 million veterans related account details got escaped I mean, like got compromised at this particular time in 2009. Okay, so you get some clarity on this particular thing. I have provided the link, and if you see what is the observation what you are making from this 2009 to 2000 to 2010, what is the observation you made? The breaches means some company getting uh, attacked, and their data is also got theft, and it was made it as public. So what you are seeing in 2009, this is the things, these many companies, and 2010, what you observed. Anyone? You see the number of attacks increased. That, yeah, the number of the number of attacks, okay, the number of breaches. In the sense they were successful and the data also got compromised has exponentially increased. Am I correct? If you see slowly, is it a this is a very big attack. Sony PlayStation. It's no one, and the people are blaming North Korea. They might be the people who are actually behind this. Okay, so they say. And if you see this, Dropbox also compromised. If you see this, okay. So you see the amount of the scope of the attack is also getting increased along with that. See, slowly. This is in 2008 how it is scattered, including the Twitter in 2018 and 2019 and 2020 data. It's not yet done, but already we have this many. By end of the year, we will get more data. Okay, so now you see within this last 3 years how big the attacks are happening. The scale of the attacks is so huge. So if you just like consider that I'm not exposed anywhere, that's really uh, a lie. Okay, because the attacks are happening and it's happening everywhere, and they are actually the attackers are so much sophisticated that slowly they are entering into your systems and without knowing to you, it is happening without knowing to you, and until unless some third party company comes and tells to you that your data got compromised, that is what it happened with PS10. I mean, like Sony PlayStation and Equifax and some other companies. Okay, so because of until unless someone comes out and tells that your company got compromised, and this is the sample data that I have seen about your company in the dark web, I have found it, or some source from a source I have identified it. So until unless that happening, the companies are also not able to identify. The companies like Microsoft, Facebook, and Marriott, and Twitter. These are all the companies. Don't they have any security apparatus in place? Definitely they have. Okay. Do you think they don't have any SOC team or anything? Definitely they have. Do you think they don't have any firewalls or antivirus systems in place? Definitely they have. But you have to remember one thing in your mind that the attacker is also become sophisticated. Now the traditional antivirus, all these softwares are nothing in front of them, to be frank. Okay. So so remember that the job that roles that you are going to like do, it is like it's not like the small sample code what you develop and you deliver it or something like that, but it's the responsibility of an organization. Okay, the security is nothing but like the responsibility of an organization where if any attack happens, it not only damages the reputation of the uh, organization, but also it can be uh, potentially it might bring down the company organization itself in terms of the financial aspects as well. Okay, just remember one example, Equifax, I can say that. Okay, so so this is about like you have to know that the kind of attacks. If someone wants to very much interested in understanding what is this Facebook attack, just click on that. It will take you to that. Uh, what do you say? That particular uh, description about that particular attack. So well, let's go ahead with this. This much is enough for us to understand on this. Okay. So so security, cyber security is like uh, is just like there for you to contain the cyber attacks itself. Okay. Uh, so this is kind of one separate field for us. Okay. Uh, what you have to do here is like you have to make sure with this cyber security, you have to make sure the physical securities and as well as data security has to be taken care. Cyber security is not only like protecting the data, but it includes some part of physical security as well. It's like how you store it, where you store it, what kind of technology you have to use it to, uh, who should be allowed, whom should not be allowed. Okay, so all these things comes into the picture. So in this cybersecurity, a subset of subpart of it, something which you are giving, uh, what do you say, for a customer is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. In the sense, a customer when he reaches for a service, like you are an Amazon customer, you want to log into your system. I mean, like you want to log into your system in the sense you want to log into your, I can say it as like logging into your Amazon.com website itself. Forget about as end customer. If you want to log into your Amazon website itself, you have to make sure all the algorithms, whatever you used, okay, it has to provide the confidentiality of your username and passwords. Okay, the integrity means from the time when it is going from your system to the next where the Amazon server is hosting your credentials and where uh, your verification of your login takes place and the to and fro communication wherever it is happening, right? Okay. So even if someone trying, like as I said, man in the middle attack happens, okay, even if he's able to see that particular data, he shouldn't be in a position to understand it, or even if he tries to modify that particular data, he shouldn't be able to gain anything out of it unless like he cannot get anything or he won't be able to make out what's going through him also. So that is called as integrity. Means even if someone modifies it, it should be resilient. Okay, the integrity of the data. Okay, so guys, I have shown you when I was explaining you guys about each and every like whether it can be a data link layer, IP layer, or it can be a transport layer. We have integrity in place. What is that? What is that? What is that header? Integrity. What is that header for everything you have? Every layer of I mean like the TCP IP layers have the integrity. You know checksum. We have gone through checksum, right,
Yes, sir.
guys?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, checksum. Checksum is the one which gives us the integrity for the network related. But application and all, we have something. Okay, like how we have something others like HTTPS and all. We are using it, all those things. So the confidentiality, integrity, and availability is something is also which has to cybersecurity team has to take care. Availability. As I said, the DDoS attack. You are an organization, someone is trying to disrupt the service of your customers. Okay, what he'll do, he will be sending some millions of fake requests to your website if you are some legitimate website, and some fake users and some fake traffic, it will be generated, automated traffic, it will be generated to your systems, and because of that your complete performance of the system will get degraded. Okay, and your network will not perform up to its mark. So normal users are going to get affected. You might have seen this even with sometimes uh, organic traffic. Forget about the DOS attacks. Say, for example, I can say like Thanksgiving's Day, if there might be a chances like the Gearbest, or I can say like Best Buy, or I can say some Amazon websites. They were actually maybe 2, 3 years before. If you see, they are very slow. Okay, or you might have seen some kind of service not available kind of things. Now the configurations are improved, so the availability means the availability for me, if even if whatever the traffic is coming in, um, the systems are able to take care. And even if some attacker is trying to attack with lot amount of fake requests, they are able to immediately identify them and they were able to contain them itself, so that you and me kind of normal users, regular users, shouldn't get affected, and their business will won't come down, because we are the people who are giving business to them by availing their services. Okay, so that is like, just keep in mind, CIA something is there, which is confidentiality, integrity, and availability are the core tasks of any cyber security. Core tasks. These are subtasks itself, but they are very core. Okay. Um, so for this particular thing, how you can, yeah, definitely you want to provide CIA, I mean like confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Okay, so how I can do that? Definitely, you can do that by, if there any attack happens, okay, you should have at least all required measures to be in place to identify that the attack is happened, or attack is gonna happen, or attack already happened, or attack in progress. All three. Attack might happen, attack is in progress, or attack happened but you are not aware. Okay. Or, so for that kind of situations, you should be able to identify these three things. Okay. You should be in place. You should be ready. You should keep a robust things. Say, for example, someone with some uh, attacker trying to send some DDoS attack. Keep some DDoS mitigation tool, like kind of some companies who provide RBOR. RBOR, okay, is a DDoS mitigation tool. Okay, what it will do? Let me show you. This is your office router, because any traffic. from your office ISP. So for example, you might be like getting the traffic from, say, I can say like um, any service provider, internet service provider. Okay, I don't want to take any example here. Okay, so and connected to the internet. Okay, all your customers are connected to the internet, and you have a firewall over here. What happened to this? This is a firewall. Oh, who is that? Who is that? Who is that? Okay, Subrato, please get into mute. Okay, fine. So, firewall, and this is a part of your some other assets are there in your organization. So this is your organization assets. So what are there? Everything we'll see it later. But someone like trying to reach you from any part of the world, okay, they have to connect to the internet and they have to reach here. Even the attackers has to follow the same thing. Okay, so you have a router here. Okay, so as soon as if here you'll be placing some kind of tool called as Arbor. If the incoming traffic, whatever it is reaching into your network, immediately Arbor will be inspecting it that is it DDoS traffic or not. They might be like using some different kinds of detection techniques. We are least bothered about them now. Okay, but Arbor is one vendor. I'm talking about DDoS mitigation tool. Like firewall, you have Palo Alto, you have F5, and you have what I can say, Juniper, you have Cisco, you have different vendors are there, right? Uh, Firewall vendors. Same way you have Arbor also. One of the topmost is Arbor, I can say. Okay. Arbor is a vendor. Okay. So these guys will be seeing, inspecting whatever the traffic is going through here. First, it will be a copy of it will be sent here and a copy will be sent here. Okay. So it will see from where this traffic is coming, from which guy this is, what he wants, which location it is coming, what kind of intention he has got to get into the system. So the next packet and the same packet has got any kind of like correlation is there, means like within last 5 minutes any such kind of similar kind of traffic anything is there. Okay, so that kind of analysis he'll do and he will be mitigating the traffic as soon as if identifies if it is a DDoS traffic. So those IPs from where the traffic is sent from different parts of the world, right? So their traffic will be stopped at the router itself. Means the router will receive it and an intimation from the Arbor to the router to drop it, it will drop it. Okay. It's for very deep pocket companies, they can actually manage this. Remember, if you are not having this tool, you have an option to like get the same service from the ISP. Okay, he might provide you the same service because this might be millions of dollars per annum. Okay, so yours is like maybe very small company. Maybe it's a size of like some 1,000 to 5,000. Okay, and your business itself maybe like maybe 100 million. So you cannot invest like millions of dollars for this kind of tools, right? So maybe you might be paying a $1 million per annum or something like that to the ISP. So ISP will be in a position to help you out with that. Okay, whatever the same kind of service you are getting it over there, you will get it here. Okay, so just remember that. Okay, so now any you got the clarity, right? Why I am talking about the um, uh, what do you say, DDoS and the security apparatus in place, right? Okay, there are already, we have lot many things, but still attacks happens. Do you think like 5 years before we didn't have these things? Yes, we have, but still our attackers are becoming so much sophisticated. Just make sure throughout the course, the examples what I'll be giving, you just keep noting them and use them and apply them when you are working. Okay. Uh, so that is the thing. So the first thing what I said is like identification. Okay. So once if you identify, okay, how you mitigate, how you mitigate means contain. Like if you know that a particular system in your organization, okay, say for example, this is a firewall and it is connected to it, another system, another firewall, another, this is a switch, okay, and another PC, this is another PC, okay. So you have this machine, this machine, this machine, this machine, okay. What it is said about the worm? What did I said? If this machine gets infected, what did I said? Guys, anything you remember? Sometime before, if a worm, if a malware with a worm gets attacked, what happens? It will
Spread across the network.
spread across multiple systems, correct, right? It will spread across multiple systems. Okay. So what did I said to
Cut the
avoid that?
network connection.
To disable the,
Network connection.
yes, perfect. You disable the network connection. That is called as mitigation. Okay, that is one step. Whatever I'm talking about here, right? That is entire thing is mitigation. All these things are called as incident handling. Okay, first you have done it, you stopped it. Okay, remove the network connection. Okay, then, okay, what you'll do? Then you will see the logs of this machine and comes to know that from which source the traffic has come, which the user has clicked, or is it any mail? If it is a mail, from which source it has come? Did it went to any other people who has received the same mail within the organization? Okay. Okay. When he clicked that, that malware actually triggered. Okay. When he clicked on the mail content, the malware got triggered. Okay. So we'll be doing that investigation of logs. Okay. And check the scope of attack to which and all systems in the entire organization got attacked. Then, okay, even if something is attacked, then after that, this IP traffic, you are going to block it. Next steps you will take. Okay. And these machines you have to cleanse again. Means reinstall, wipe everything, reinstall. And take, before wiping, take a copy of it and do further memory and forensic investigation. Then create a report and share it to the management. Guys, my writing might be a little, what do you say, kind of not so attractive. Just bear with it throughout the course. Okay. Okay. So now you got it right. What I'm saying, incident handling, these many steps will be there. It's not like just SOC means I will be sitting and I'll be seeing through like logs and I'll be seeing through some kind of alerts, I'll get it. But once after getting the alert, okay, you have to be in a position to do all these kind of things. Yes, I will make sure you guys are all up to this mark, not the memory and uh, forensics or anything like reports you can create. These two things, wipe and this thing. And this communication, how you have to make sure, and making sure, like telling their appropriate team to update, saying like IT team to remove the network connections, and you start analyzing the logs because you have like Splunk kind of tool which already collected all those logs, Splunk or ArcSight, whichever it is in your organization. Okay, so all the steps you are going to do it. Okay, because memory forensics and network forensics is altogether a different topic where SOC usually doesn't involve in them. Okay, so our task is to certain extent, but the further investigations will be taken care by these guys. And you hardly find one or two people in any organization. It's not like very big or something. Okay, organization means like a mid-sized company I'm talking about. Okay, so this is called as incident handling. So if any attack happens, you should have better identification mechanisms in place, like malware attack happened. It has detected, it didn't spread, but antivirus has contained it. Okay, so that is called as good detection mechanism. Okay, someone like you are into your organization, you don't want to allow the people who are trying to connect from their remote machine of office remote machine from their homes. You don't want to let them, even though they know like how to connect this particular machines. Okay, you don't want to let them, so you will be blocking them here at firewall. So even if someone tries to send, if an attacker comes tries to identify the internal systems, they can actually stop them here itself. Okay, they can contain them. Okay, so this is called as one of the what do you say, identification things. Firewall will let you know that you are under attack or something like that. Someone is trying to reach some service which should not be allowed. Okay, okay. This is this is all our identification purpose. Okay, and um, these steps, if anything, like what you'll do if a DDoS attack happens, what you'll do if a password uh, uh, I mean like brute force attack happens, what you'll do if a malware attack happens. So you are going to have a set of steps written, like if any of these incident happens, what steps you are going to follow. That things you should be aware. So this part at the end, after like once finishing the after security, will be going to uh, what I say, Splunk and SOC related things. After that, we'll be covering the incident handling. Okay, so I can say that. Uh, so I think you guys have got better clarity on why it is an important, robust identification methods and effective incident handling to be in place. Okay, let's move on. So, what you are protecting, like against? Okay, so you have to protect against these things. Like no one should have access. Like the people who shouldn't be accessing some files. Okay, irrespective. I'm not only talking about an attacker. Even if you are a normal employee, say for example, you are a developer, so you shouldn't have uh, any access for the project related estimation documents and all these things. Am I correct or not? Correct, right? Okay, you shouldn't be having any permissions to do them. Like you shouldn't be allowed to delete any such files even if you find them, or you shouldn't even have access to it first of all. Then you shouldn't be able to modify them, and you shouldn't be able to delete them. So unauthorized modification, deletion, and the first in place, unauthorized people should not be able to access. Forget about the attack. I say in organizations, if a Even if you take the Splunk itself, like person like you and me, okay, we won't be having like adding a data source or like some new logs getting to the Splunk, right? Okay, Splunk. That particular thing is it won't be there for you and me. Okay, it will be there for the people who are other part operations people who are called as Splunk admins. Okay, they are not like security experts, but they are the people who actually helps us in administrating our Splunk. They will have the access, but we won't have. We should put request to them, then they do it. If you have means something, it is something wrong happening over there. If you are a right person, like company has given you like authorized you, that's out of the question. Like it's like exception for you, but usually it is totally like not allowed for a normal user to have the like you and me, a developer or Splunk user or a SOC analyst having the admin privileges. Okay, so just remember that. So unauthorized modification, deletion, and accessing should not be there. Okay, will it be okay for you like I have access to your like payroll related information? No, that shouldn't be allowed. Will it be okay on behalf of you? I can actually avail a temporary loan or like some payroll, what I can say, paycheck, which I can take like maybe middle of the month paycheck. I can withdraw or something big on behalf of you. No, that is not allowed. So someone's data should not be accessed by the unauthorized access should not be there first of all. Okay, so they shouldn't be able to modify and delete it. Okay, so as I said, confidentiality, integrity, and availability are the three pillars of uh, what do you say the security. Okay, they call it as CIA triad. It is an important interview question. Just remember that they will say just to make sure like how good you are at security basics. You might be very strong at creating the Splunk queries, creating the dashboards, alerts, and very good at incident handling. But if you go for a manager round, they say like, what is meant by CA triad? Then if you are not in a position to answer it, then they will be like, okay, this guy is very technically very good, sound, but coming down to the domain knowledge, he is not so strong. So make sure, just remember that CA triad. Okay, three pillars of the cybersecurity. That is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Okay, so confidentiality is nothing but like making sure that no one is able to like access it, even if they modify it, they cannot do anything. For that purpose, what we have encryption in place to make sure when the data is communicating in between two parties, that is the source, that is you, and the server, that is some amazon.com. Now you're entering the username and password here and trying to click login button. Okay, the data is going through, but unfortunately you are on an open Wi-Fi, which is of an attackers. Even though now this data is passing through the attacker, okay, this is the evil attacker. Okay, so it is passing through, okay, the attacker. Since this particular data, whatever it is going through, is HTTPS data. If you see this kind of HTTPS data, this kind of logs symbol should be there. So it is like encrypting all the data that is going from here, and the other person is only the person who is able to decrypt it. The encryption, whatever it sends, will be able to understand it by this particular Amazon.com server. Okay, so he is the only person should be able to decrypt it. Okay, and the data which is sending from here is encrypted by Amazon and should be able to decrypt it by the user. Okay, even this guy sees the traffic, it'll be some kind of gibberish traffic, something A23FC something. He doesn't even make out what it really means. Okay, so that is the use of encryption. So confidentiality, how you can get it? If someone tells in the interview, if someone asks you in the interview, how we can achieve the confidentiality, you just say, tell them that, boss, it's easy. Just use encryption. With this, the communication in between the source and the destination is secured because the data is converted, okay, into an encrypted format, okay, where others cannot understand it unless they have the keys. Okay, yeah, okay. So that is about the what I can say, the encryption related. The more information I've given here, if you want, you can go through that. Okay, so the confidentiality, there is one more thing, okay, that is called as data leakage. Okay, like just don't let anyone to copy the data and paste it somewhere wherever they want. Okay, don't let it. Use some hashes, file versions you give. Okay, and do some kind of stuffs like what do you say, the latest modification dates, if any change happening. Okay, all that information you're storing it in some information. If like that is the reason the version numbers, all these things we do, right? Okay, so the confidentiality is something related to that as well, that no one has actually modified it. So that like the file modification date automatically getting changed in the file itself, getting updated in the file itself. Okay, so that others will come to know that, oh, actually I should only the person who should be able to access it, but I can see that there is a file modifications are accessing time apart from the same time which I have definite, but then it's not the same time which I've logged in. I'm 100% sure about it. That kind of confidentiality should be there. Okay. So just remember that these are the some like informations which you should know about the confidentiality. But straight away you can say that encryption is the one which actually provides you everything. Okay. So then the second part is integrity. Okay. Now what I'm saying is the data is transferring from here, say in some packets, right? Okay, to here. Okay. So whether the attacker might be sitting here or he might be sitting here or attacker might be sitting in the organization network itself. Okay. So there are three things you should remember. Here in the slide, I don't have it, but just remember it. You should always provide integrity to data. Integrity means I said, okay, say for example, Raghav. Okay, this is the information I am sending it. Okay, so the information I have sent it Raghav, but other system has received Raghav. What is the change here?
Alphabet, capital and small.
Yes, the information is the same, but you see, someone has modified in between. Whatever I sent, it did not reach where? The destination. Means someone in the middle, or someone here, or someone here. okay, somewhere, okay, has actually modified it. So the integrity of the data has changed. Okay, the integrity of the data has changed. Okay, so it's the responsibility of us to cue the integrity when data at motion, or you can say it as transit, means it is passing through from these many devices, right? Okay, during that time, at rest, you have stored the data in your hard disk. Just it is lying over there. No one is accessing it. Okay, and at processing, means in the processor, in the processor. Okay, okay, the username and password or something like that you entered, and it is creating some kind of encryption. Where it is happening? Everything at processor. Okay, how many of you know that heart bleed attack where the Intel processors meltdown? Huh? What is that? Meltdown, right? Okay, we'll discuss about these attacks later. The attackers, what they were doing, the information that is processing, right, in the processor, okay, some memory, registry level memories will be there, right? Okay, the data will not be encrypted here. It will be the plain text data. They have identified some vulnerability in the processor, and they were able to see the credentials of the users. Whatever the credentials, they were able to see the user's credential by Intel's Intel's processor. Okay, let me show you guys. The meltdown and Spectra. Okay, they said meltdown is the main name. Spectra, they named it for other processors. Just remember that. Okay, so is a hardware vulnerability. Don't think the vulnerabilities. Vulnerability means weakness, where the attackers identifies. See, a very brick wall constructed in front of you. Okay, and if you want to break it, what you'll do? You will hit the wall with a hammer at the same location itself, because you are making some damage to it, and after that hitting more, it is more vulnerable to break the wall. Correct, right? So vulnerability means weakness. Okay, so if you want to what do you say, um, bring down a big building, if you hit which thing, you can easily bring down that building. A big building is there. If you hit which things in the building, you can easily bring down the building, entire building. What you have to hit? Pillars. Correct, right? Am I correct?
Yes. Yes, sir.
That's what. Yeah, that's what. Okay. So the vulnerability is weaknesses. Even our buildings have got also the weaknesses. That is the pillars. They are our strength, but they are also our weaknesses. We are using, the building is giving the protection for us, but we have some weaknesses. That is someone allowing them to come and hit it. So that's why we'll keep securities, everyone, to monitor them, that no one is hitting our pillars or something, because it is very dangerous for us. Correct, right? So same way, for you take it in the nature itself, okay? You get so many examples. For everything, you also might be vulnerable for many things. Okay, so that those are like weaknesses. So what they say, I need a job. Okay, that is my weakness. I am desperate about it now. Some scammer comes and tells that I will just pay me 1,000. I'll make you through some interview or something like that. The job is something very necessity for you, and he found that weakness, and he is able to rip off money from you out of that your weakness. Okay, so just remember, a vulnerability is nothing but a weakness. Okay, it can be a hardware or it can be a software, but somehow they'll make something out of it, the attackers. Okay, so what they have done in hardware vulnerability, especially x86 processors. Okay, it can be IBM or ARM or anything. Okay, it allows a rogue process, means a small process this guy will create. Process means some small sample code, some simple code he'll create to read all memory, all memory that is running through the processor, even when it is not authorized to do so. Got it? Okay, you are not allowed during some bank application, something when it is running, you will run this process also, and the memory is shared right somewhere in the registries and all. During that time, he'll be accessing that data. This through this small rogue process. Okay, are you clear, guys? Is it clear?
Yes, yes.
Fantastic. Shall we move it? Okay, so the data, okay, whatever it is, while processing or when it is just lying in the hard disk, means at rest, you are storing it in somewhere, SSDs or hard disk or somewhere, or in motion, when it is passing through our network cables, Wi-Fi, everywhere, right? Through motion. At motion, at rest, and processing, you should provide integrity. Means no one should be allowed to modify the data. Okay? So this is about the integrity. Okay. So next, what we have, let's go and see. We have the availability. Anytime availability means simple. Okay. You are the correct person to access some data. You are entering username and password. Your own username and password you are entering. Okay. But it is telling you are unauthorized user. Will it be okay for you? Means instead of the user, when he is trying to log in, okay, when the user is trying to log in, some administrator, this is the server it has to, this is the Amazon server. Your username and passwords and everything, verification and everything happens here. Okay. And you are connected to the internet. Your office is connected to the internet and you are trying to access the web server, like some web page, like you entered the username and password, and here all the username and data and everything is stored. Okay, here where it is stored and all, you are not even least bothered, you are least bothered about it, and it is not your responsibility also. When you are entering username and password, okay, it is going and doing some kind of getting an update, unauthorized user, invalid username and password. Got it? Okay, then you are scratching your head now. What happened? Okay, just remember how they are interlinked, security things. If a misconfiguration has done by the IT engineer, that authentication has to go to this valid server, the traffic authentication server, instead of some other test server they have configured it. This might be some testing server, so testing authentication server. Here the real data is not there. Someone has actually connected that to the main Amazon server. Correct, right? Okay. So definitely, if you are pointing to the wrong one, definitely here your username and passwords are not there. Here only test accounts will be there. But from here, when you are trying to connect, when it is configured to this, you won't be able to get connection. You will be every time told that your username and password is not there with us. We don't know who you are. Okay. So how it is relates to our security, some configuration changes, right? You have to keep monitoring. Guys, remember all these things. If someone asks you, give some like how I can identify, means like kind of like availability and all, how I can security, how you can link availability and security, means give these examples. Okay, I can monitor that if anyone I the configuration of Amazon should always be communicating with the production related authentication servers. Okay, production related authentication server, that is this host name or this IP address I will be maintaining. Okay, if Amazon login request comes, it has to go through this only. If not any of these, if not this user, this system host name, or not this system IP address, alert me. So before a customer, if someone misconfiguration does, immediately you'll get an alert. Someone has done misconfiguration. Being a security SOC engineer, you will immediately communicate with that team, authentication team, tell that, hey boss, someone has done misconfigurations. Why it was happened it? Okay. Is it anything misconfiguration? Is it a part of expected thing? Or it is by mistake something happened over there? That kind of like oral explanation you'll be asking over there in that particular incident ticket, and you'll be asking them for their response. Within another 10-15 minutes, they will respond back to you. Hey, it's a by mistake. One of the IT engineer has misconfigured it. We are putting it back to the right configuration. Okay, that is how you'll be achieving the availability. And another thing, as we have already discussed, someone is attacking some DDoS attack traffic they are sending. This is one more type where they're like stopping the normal users traffic not to get allowed because they are sending huge amount of traffic. So availability will be missed. To make sure we have the Arbor kind of tools. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Availability. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Siddhanta? Siddhartha?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Teja, no queries? Teja, you're there? Okay. Sunita, any
No,
questions still now?
no,
Brinda joined? Brinda, any questions? No
no,
questions?
nothing, sir. Nothing.
Okay. Shall we move forward? Hmm?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Let me update my time. My CMOS is expired. Okay. We'll take another 10 minutes and after that we'll take break. Okay? Huh? I'll take another 10 minutes. 10:40.
Okay.
Another 10 minutes we'll take and then half an hour break we'll take. Okay. Okay, Elango, you are just joined today. Okay. I hope I'm not confusing you or anything. Yeah, I think I hope you are comfortable with this space.
Yeah, well, I'm very comfortable with this. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, let's move ahead. Yeah. So, as I said, like uh, This is what we have to do. As soon as when we get an attack, guys, first you should have identification mechanisms should be in place. Okay, means like alert you should receive, or by looking at the dashboards you should be able to see them. Either it can be, I'm talking about from our side, from the SOC perspective only we will discuss. Yes, there are like some other teams are also there. Okay, they will be monitoring their antivirus team. They will have some one or two engineers from the antivirus system side. They will also be monitoring all these things from their individual side. But from the organization level, from we are at the very bigger picture. If something like even they doesn't know, we should be able to know. Okay, so something like that. If you identify it, okay, immediately you should jump in and start analyzing it. That's what I said, right? If any attack happened and say some malware got infected, some ransomware or something got attacked, or some malware got attacked, I mean, attack happened, immediately what you're doing, some phishing attack you identified, immediately from this particular source email ID, okay, how many of the people have received? You are going to analyze it by looking at the logs, and you will evaluate the impact of that particular attack on our organization. Oh God, nearly 50 people has received it, and 10 people have actually opened that link, whichever it is there, received over on the mail. Okay, that kind of thing is called as evaluation. So you have analyzed and you evaluated the impact. Okay, then you immediately treat it, like blocking that particular email, blocking that particular the domain means at the rate gmail.com, right? You cannot block entire Gmail, say for example. Okay, if it is like our company, I mean like the attacker has sent from some other domain name, like some elearninfosec.com. Okay, so they will block at the rate email infosec. Any emails comes, if I am an attacker who has attacked it, then they will block all my from my domain whatever the email comes. Okay, got it right. And the source IP anyhow it will be there. So from that source also they will block the traffic. All these things are called a treatment. How you treat the whatever the attack, whatever aftermath, whatever it happened. Okay, that's the thing. Now let's come back to the attack itself. Okay, so I say attack, attack, attack. Okay, what is this attack? Okay, so we have to identify some things. I said whenever, okay, when an attacker can actually attack you. Okay, first of all, you have the vulnerabilities. Okay, first of all, you have to look for vulnerabilities. Your organization, your organization should have very good vulnerability management plan. Okay, this is Siddhartha. This is for you. Just remember, any company when they are actually like from the business sides, what kind of vulnerability management that service that you are going to provide. There are very different kind of vulnerability management. Say, kind of like what are the softwares you have and what are the hardwares you have, and you have to have all the inventory of your software and hardware first thing. Okay, and software is nothing is not about only the operating systems, but different vendors. Who are the vendors? Okay, so mail, from where you are getting it, mail related. Oh, are you using Office 360? Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, or you are using Gmail? Okay, that's also fantastic. Okay, are you
So a
using
log
any?
would be generated, right?
Yes, for everything log would be generated. Okay, for everything, like you are going to check what are your systems latest configurations. Okay, the software versions of each vendor. You will be creating a file, okay, with logs. Oh, operating system on this particular machine, okay, on so and so machine. Say I have my machine, at office. Example I'm telling. Okay. I have disabled my antivirus in office. Okay. There will be like usually what you'll have auto update request. You'll be getting it right. Correct, right? Auto update request you'll be getting it. That auto update itself you have disabled. Okay. For any operating system, or we'll take it as for what? For any one PC, for antivirus you take it. Okay. If this information is not known to the antivirus team, who are the responsible people monitoring, like whose antivirus are up to date and whose systems has got which version of the antivirus. Okay, all such information when they want to install, they only will be installing, right? Antivirus and all from sitting at remote location, they can push that antivirus to us, all these things. Okay, so these guys, okay, if they are not doing their job, okay, as a security team perspective, we should have some kind of mechanism to be in place that is called as vulnerability management. Usually, some companies they will include some vulnerability management tool like Nessus or OpenVAS kind of tools, okay, readily available within the SOC environment itself, where they will be running all the systems latest configurations in like what OS, what kind of is it 62-bit or 32-bit or 64-bit or 32-bit, or it is like kind of what I can say. Mm, it is like what antivirus they have, what kind of database they are using, what is the version of the database, okay, what is the firewall they are using, what kind of firewall version they are using, okay. So all that information it will capture and will give us the information. And the best part of the commercial vulnerability management software is they know they will keep track of which and all operating systems versions and which and all softwares from different vendors and what are all vulnerabilities in them. Okay, what are all vulnerabilities in them? Say
That's
example.
a
Yeah, go ahead.
vulnerability scanning, right? Vulnerability scanning.
Perfect. Correct.
Yeah.
In the management, first you do scanning, then you are come to know about the risks. Okay, all those things you will do it. Okay, that let's see that step by step. So vulnerability, you will be like identify what are all the vulnerabilities within your organization itself. Okay, you must be knowing that your antivirus should be at, say, for example, 10.5, but you have 10.1 something on one particular server or one particular PC. Okay, that means is it risk or not? Is it a threat or not? Because last 4 days some new updates have come, antivirus updates have come that are not went to this system. If an attacker sends any phishing email with this 4 days, within these 4 days, some kind of attack, whatever it is newly evolved, if they send it to him, if he clicks on that, the antivirus will fail to detect that particular threat and you will be in a big risk. Am I correct? Am I correct here or not? Guys,
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
10.5 should be there, but your machine you have disabled the auto update and you are at 10.1. Okay, this is a vulnerability. Okay, so because of this, it is a threat that someone can actually try to identify this and send some what some attack file which is vulnerable to this version, means like where the update within this 5 days some security like virus updates, whatever it is not available on this machine, that particular virus he'll be sending it, or that particular kind of malware he'll be sending it. So that is a threat. Once if he clicks on this, the user on this particular machine, so now it is a risk because the data is on this system. Got it? Okay. So that is the reason I have shown you three things here. Let me show you here. Vulnerability, you have it. Okay. And that means if any vulnerability is there means you might be ticking bomb. You might be at any point get attacked. That is a threat for you. That's what, right? You hit a person, your friend or you like someone with whom you argued, you had a fight with him, you'll be passing through the same line every day. You doubt that that guy will definitely come and hit you at any point of time. So now you are at threat, but you are taking the risk because you don't have any other way to reach your home. You have to come through the same road. Okay, so you have taken that risk. Okay, if you have some other road, okay, so if you come to know there is a threat, what you have done immediately, you have reduced your risk by going through some different route. Got it right, guys?
Yes, sir.
That is what vulnerability, threat, and risk is all about. The risk says, boss, I cannot put DDoS mitigation tool in my organization because my business itself $100 million, from where I can pay maybe $10 million per annum. It's not possible for me. So I'll take a risk by not letting the DDoS related, I least bother about DDoS related threat. You have taken that risk, but you have a threat. When we have identified you are vulnerable for DDoS attacks, you are vulnerable because you don't have any mitigation tool. Okay, clear? Shall we move ahead?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The risk is like how much you are able to take it. Got it? So that's how, even like the data, whatever it is going to get stored, right? Some admin has actually left the company, Splunk admin. Okay. So no one is there. Okay. But you are the only person within like from the SOC team who knows some kind of admin activities. Okay. But you are not a certified admin. But company has to move forward, right? Even without that until a new replacement comes. Correct, right? Now the company has taken the risk, even if the admin is not there, they have given the responsibilities to you, even if you are not a certified. You go ahead with the task. That company has taken this risk. They have assessed the risk and they have taken that risk. So the formula for if someone asks you, what is the formula for risk? You just tell that threat into vulnerability is called as a risk. Okay? Risk management is key for cybersecurity. Okay? Okay, let's move forward. Okay. So threats come from different ways, my friends. One, physical, that is like someone can break into your uh, office. Okay. They can come and take any kind of these things like PCs or anything they can take. Okay. They can take like the mob can come and attack or something like that. Or it can be like natural disasters, earthquakes, whether like hurricanes or anything. Okay. And the humans like so people like attackers. Okay. Then network threats will also be there. Like human threats means like uh, some people like social engineering they do and they will be like trying to um, like they apply those their what they have learned on us, okay, and some person who is working to X company but internally came to our company and giving all the information to the X company. So that is called as insider threat. Not only that, a employee who is in got fired sometime before, but we let him to work for another 1 week. Okay, so he is an insider threat. He's trying to destroy some confidential data or some kind of important information so that the business gets impacted. Okay, so those are all human threats for us. Okay, which are internal threats. Okay, okay. So network threats, as I said, like man in the middle attack. Okay, distributed denial of service attacks, like ARP spoofing. ARP spoofing means like uh, you say like, yeah, I want to communicate with my router. Who is my router? First of all, I just powered on my machine. I just powered on my machine. I want to connect to my Wi-Fi router. Who is my Wi-Fi router? And all of a sudden, Mr. Tom says that I am the router. You are router. You can talk to me. That's what it happens in the what do you say, in the open what do you say, the malls or the shopping malls. You get uh, automatically connect to the open Wi-Fi networks, right? That is what it happens. Okay, and the sniffers, like I can say, like sniffer means what's happening with your like systems, like data coming in and going out. Someone is monitoring it. That is called as sniffing, but it is hosted at your machine itself or the end server machine itself. That is called as sniffing. Spoofing means like you say it as like your IP address is maybe like 192.168.1.10, but you spoof it as like your IP address is 10.2.3.5 something. You can spoof that. Those are all network threats. What happens if someone spoofs their IP address? We are stopping him with some IP address, but he's on the same machine but changes to different IP address and he'll send the traffic to me. He spoofs the IP address and sends traffic to me. So again, I have to update the IP address rule on my firewall to block him. Then again, he will change the IP address and again I have to block. So these are like kind of spoofs are also very headache for us. Okay. So these are all network, these things. Host, as I said, malwares, passwords. These are all threats. You shouldn't keep them on any plain white paper. I mean, like notepads or somewhere. Okay. So the code should not be available for everyone, and backdoor should not be launched so that like worms and all can actually go there. Okay. And malwares and all should not be clicked on so that they can actually communicate with, like they can steal the data and they can destroy our data. Okay. And like there should not be like your machine, whatever you have, should never be part of DOS attack. Why I'm saying is, without knowing to you, some softwares, whatever you install, okay, on your machine, without knowing to you, okay, the free software stuff, whatever you got, right? We are all very hungry for the free stuff, the materials, the softwares, okay? So immediately, as soon as we install that particular thing, it is without knowing to you, is communicating with attacker machine, okay? And getting all the controls from there. Boss, let me know whenever you say I am ready to do your job, whatever the instructions you give, I'm ready to do that job. I'm just sitting over here. Okay, he doesn't even know that I'm here. This guy is thinking that I'm a nice software for him. Okay, let him be thinking the same way. I am ready for your instructions. This guy, what he'll do? Okay, the similar kind of so many machines got infected. Okay, everybody saying the same thing to him. Okay, this guy all of a sudden tell that, okay guys, now I have a job for you. You guys have to immediately, each guy have to send 1,000 Amazon.com requests. So everyone will be sending that traffic to the Amazon. 1,000, 3,000 per second. 3,000 request per second. So this guy is big shot, no problem. If he is a small size company, he will lose his business. Got it? So this host DOS means you should be aware that your host machine not as part of DOS attack. And even in an office, there are some incidents happened. Their machines are working as DOS, denial of service clients or something like that. Okay, they are part of DOS. Okay, and applications like session management, like someone can actually see. I will show you one thing. Okay, see this. I'm entering. Last time I have showed you. Okay, I'm just clicking on Gmail. Okay, usually when I click Gmail, what I should see? Any one of you? What should I see normally?
Username and password.
Password. Correct, right? But what you guys are seeing here? What you guys are seeing here? Huh?
Direct login.
Yes. How it has happened? Because of the session management related information, my browser is holding in. Means server has given permission for me. Please don't come to me with username and password every time. Okay. I will give you some token to you, session token to you. Store it in your browser. As soon as when you want Google gmail.com, take that token that is called as a cookie token. Take that token along with the Gmail request and send it to me. If the token is correct, I will send you the Gmail inbox itself. Got it? That session management related information, you should make them secured. You should make them secured. Remember that. Okay? Oh, where we went? Where it is? Here. Where? It here? Yeah. Okay. That session management means that is called as session management related things, authentication related things. Someone has actually infected some malware in your system. What it is doing, it is making full of entire your RAM itself. When there is no space in the RAM, what happens? That application is taking all the memory of the system, RAM. RAM is 12 GB. All the entire 12 GB is occupied by only one application. What happens? The server will never work for others. Correct, right? So all such things are to be taken care. All threats to be known. Now threats, it is clear for you guys, right? So next we will be moving hacker types and all. Okay, after the break. Okay, guys. It's 11:04 for me. I don't know what is your local times. Okay. We will be extending little late today, so I'll be giving you guys half an hour time or 35 minutes time I'll give. 10:04. Elango, you will be able to join, right? After half an hour?
Yes.
Okay, fine. 11:05 is the local time for us here. I'll be giving 30 minutes. Okay, 30 minutes is enough. Okay, so 11:35 will be joining. Okay, guys, please be back on time. So we have a lot of slides to cover. Okay, we have to finish certain portion today this week, so that next portions we should be on time. Like we'll be on track. Okay, fine. I'll be stopping the sharing. I'll be stopping the recording as well.